And our first main topic today gets submitted to us by Dave Perkins, who writes, "Hey, John. Looks like it's time to start planning the return trip to Wakanda because Kevin Feige announced that production on Black Panther, Wakanda Forever has begun in Atlanta. With the film just shy of an entire year out before it hits, what kind of movie do you feel we'll be getting from Ryan Coogler and the cast?" All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And look, obviously, COVID aside, one of the biggest movie news stories and topics of conversation over the past year has been the passing of Chadwick Boseman. And, you know, obviously the passing of anyone is a tragedy in and of itself, but especially when he was just coming to the height of his powers. You know what I mean? He was now the star of one of the biggest movie franchises in the world, one of the lead guys in the biggest movie franchise in the world. He was about to get an Oscar nomination. He was getting a lot of awards consideration. He was just really, I mean, he'd always been a good actor, but he was just really hitting his stride. And so within movie circles, after he passed, a lot of the conversation turned to, where does Black Panther go from here? Without our king, without Chadwick, where do we go from here? And listen, there was a lot of different points of view. Some people, like myself, believed the better thing is to recast him and to carry on for Chadwick. Other people believed the best thing to do was to CGI Chadwick into the movie. Other people believed they shouldn't do another Black Panther. And then some others believed that they should continue to do Black Panther, but just, you know, remove the T'Challa character and make a new character, Black Panther. And that's what ultimately they decided to do. We've heard about some casting announcements and things like that. It's all been good. We heard the wonderful Lupita Nyong'o talk about this a few weeks ago, and we discussed her comments. But now it's happening. It's no longer theoretical. It is the tangibilization, as I call it, of the movie news. They have actually gotten on set, and they are now shooting Black Panther 2. And there's still a lot of question marks and mysteries surrounding it for us as the audience. For example, we still don't know who the new Black Panther is. Because this movie isn't just called Wakanda Forever. It's called Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Somebody's going to be Black Panther. At any rate, this comes to us from Benjamin Walker, who writes, "It's clearly very emotional without Chad." Sorry, this was Kevin Feige that said this. This comes to us from Variety. "It's clearly very emotional without Chad," Feige said before the Black Widow global fan event in Los Angeles on Tuesday night. "But everyone is also very excited to bring the world of Wakanda back to the public and back to the fans. We're going to do it in a way that would make Chad proud." And again, that's Kevin Feige talking to the folks over at Variety. Aaron, you know, it's hard to overstate how much of a, not just impact Black Panther made in the movie world, but the cultural impact that it had. It made over $1 billion at the box office. It became the first comic book movie to be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Its impact was immeasurable in many, many ways. And a big part of that was Chadwick Boseman. As we're going into Black Panther 2, what I'm expecting to see, I'm going to go out on a limb right now, and I'm going to guess that Lupita Nyong'o is going to be the new Black Panther. I have no insider information on that. But hear me out. This is why I think it's going to be Lupita Nyong'o. Number one, she is the best actor in the cast. I mean, it's Lupita Nyong'o, Academy Award winner, will have more than one Oscar sitting on her mantle by the time it's all said and done. So she's the strongest actress in the cast. On top of that, she is King T'Challa's queen. I mean, so that makes sense narratively. Also narratively, when they were going to go and try to take on M'Baku, or they were going to try to take on Michael B. Jordan, you know, T'Challa's mom wanted Nakia to take the last herb and become Black Panther and go take him out. She is a warrior. We've seen her in action. She is nobility in the tribes of Wakanda. She was able to be there. I think it was the Water Tribe that she's a part of. But anyway, narratively, action-wise, actress-wise, it all makes sense to me. Some people think it's going to be Shuri. I would also love for it to be M'Baku, but I don't think they're going to do it. So where are they going with Black Panther this one? I think it's going to be Lupita Nyong'o's Nakia. Aaron, you know, they're moving forward now, and you and I have talked about this because you have some experience with stuff like this. Obviously, you were working on Spartacus, and when the show lost Andy and Andy passed away, and the show had to make the decision to move on without Andy, and they decided to recast. But number one, what challenges, having been through that experience yourself, what challenges are they going to be facing on the set of Black Panther 2, trying to make this thing without Chadwick Boseman now there? And number two, where do you think this movie's going to go?
Well, thank you. Those are fantastic questions. Number one, in the case of both Andy Whitfield and Chadwick Boseman, sadly, the world lost both of these incredible actors. And I don't know, I never met Chadwick Boseman, but from the things that we've heard about him, he sounded like just an absolutely beautiful human being, as Andy Whitfield was as well. And so both passing at the prime of their career, just as things were really starting to explode for them. The difference between their passing and the passing of someone like
Chadwick,
Bill Paxton, who died suddenly, in surgery. It was not an expected thing. As they were getting to the end stages of their lives, Andy had the ability to share his vision for Spartacus, as I imagine that Chadwick Boseman had the ability to share his vision for the continuation of Black Panther. And just as Andy said, I do believe this story needs to live on, and I would like for you to recast the character of Spartacus. I am Andy Whitfield. I am not Spartacus. In the same way, Chadwick Boseman is the actor who portrayed Black Panther. And whatever we want to say about how he is Black Panther, in the world of reality, he is the actor who portrayed Black Panther. And so I have no doubt that he had many conversations with Kevin Feige about whether or not Black Panther should continue, could continue, how he would feel about it, how his family would feel about it. And so we have to trust that there are conversations that have occurred that we are not a part of. We were not sitting there in the final months of Chadwick Boseman's life to hear his thoughts. But I'm pretty sure that his thoughts were shared with Kevin Feige and the people, that are involved in this film. I also, the challenge I imagine that they are facing is, how do we, pay tribute to this actor, this beloved actor who had such an impact in his short life, and who obviously was the central figure of this film being so successful, without making it a Chadwick Boseman tribute movie, because that's not what it is. It is the sequel to Black Panther, and that is what it should be, so that the story can move forward. As unfortunately, as we do, as what has to happen, we all have to move forward. That doesn't mean forget. That doesn't mean, act like it's past history, but we have to have the story moving forward. And so, I do think that there is a challenge, but in the same way that, Black Panther, I'm not going to say that people didn't have high expectations, but, I in a similar way to Wonder Woman, we had not seen a film that was an almost exclusively Black cast have that kind of worldwide phenomenon, success, and box office numbers. And you're absolutely right. It changed everything. There was a lot of I don't even know what the term you would call for it, sales racism, I guess you would say. I mean, I had a producer sit down and actually tell me flat out, there will never be a Black-led film that can do international box office numbers because people in China don't want to watch a Black-led film. Like, I actually had a producer, shockingly, who's not really working anymore these days, say that to me. And similarly, there was a lot of feeling that like Wonder Woman would go the way of many other female-led superhero films. And there's always a rule until the rule gets broken. And then you realize that it was never actually a rule anyway. And so any preconceived notions about how well a Black would do, much less a superhero film, starring a character that wasn't already part of the zeitgeist, this broke the mold. And so I really think that the people who created the original Black Panther made such an incredible impact in the first one, and they're going to carry with them all the things that they use, all the tools that they used for that, bringing it into the sequel to give the audience what we're looking for, and somehow, in honor of Chadwick Boseman, but allowing the story to move forward.
It's a tall order that they have to fill, and there's going to be a lot of expectations going into the second film. It's going to be interesting to see how they navigate it. The question is for you guys. What do you think about this? The film is now actually shooting. It is in front of cameras. They are making this movie as we speak. Where do you see things going? You think Shuri's going to be the new Black Panther? Do you think Nakia, like I think, is going to be the new Black Panther? M'Baku, another character altogether? Which way do you think they're going to go? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.